Hi, I'm Father Jim Forson, and I'd like to share with you some reflections on this feast of Saints Peter and Paul. At the turn of the last century, a Welsh poet named Dylan Thomas, as he was thinking about his father who had died, wrote the poem, "Do not go gentle into that good night. Rage, rage against the dying of the light." He was encouraging his father from a distant memory to fight, to struggle to stay alive, to rage against the dying of the light. And I get that. I think we all do. When I went in for heart surgery, nobody said to me, "Well, okay, sirrah, sirrah, whatever will be, will be." Nobody said that to me. Everybody said, you got this. You're gonna get through this. You're gonna be okay. Positive attitude. And I think we've all said that to people whom we know, whom we love, who are going in for something serious medically. We want to fight for life. And so those words of Dylan Thomas resonate with us. But there are other words that we hear today in the gospel, the words of Jesus spoken to Peter. And it's that famous gospel where we hear Jesus ask Peter 3 times, "Do you love me? Do you love me? Feed my lambs." But at the end of the gospel, he says something so interesting. He says, "Peter, when you were younger, you could dress yourself as you wished and go where you wanted. But when you get older, you will stretch out your hands and someone else will clothe you and carry you off to where perhaps you did not wish to go." And in those words, he was indicating the kind of death that Peter was going to suffer, a death very similar to that of Christ. What Jesus, in ever so many words, was saying to Peter was, surrender. So which is it? Do we fight for life, or do we surrender to the inevitable? Well, perhaps there's truth in both of those thoughts. Maybe it's like this. I've read that when babies are born, their vision is not fully formed. They can only see maybe 8 inches, 12 inches in front of them. And they have no sense of their own bodily identification. They are at one with their mothers. And in fact, when they can't be at one with their mother, they have that terrible separation anxiety because the child and the mother are one. And it takes time for that individuation to occur. And it takes time for that separation to take place. And I wonder that after it does take place and after we are separate from our mothers, do we spend the rest of our lives trying to find a way back to being at one with, that the two are one? I mean, what is it we say in the wedding ceremony? They are no longer two, but one flesh. And what do we say in our poetry? 2 hearts beat as one. And about couples who have known each other for a long time, we say they know each other so well they can finish each other's sentences. There is that yearning, I think, within us to be at one with. And that's why I think death frightens us so much, or makes us angry, or we fight against it. Because we don't want to be separate from the people whom we love. We want to be at one with them. And so when death comes and separates us, it frightens us. It makes us angry. But Jesus also said to Peter, after he indicated the kind of death he was to suffer, he said to Peter, "Follow me. What I did in my life, do in your life. The path I walked on, you walk on." And that path that Jesus walked on was one that was very clear. He said often to his disciples, "I and the Father are one. Those who see me see the Father." And toward the end of his life, he said, "I must now return to the Father." Jesus understood himself always to be at one with the Father. He walked through this life that way. And he knew that his destiny was to return and be completely at one with the Father forever. And so Jesus was one who certainly loved life and certainly fought for good life and who certainly surrendered to that life with the Father. That's the path. And when he said to Peter, "Follow me," that's what he was saying. This is the path to walk on. And he is saying the same to us. So perhaps there's truth in both of those thoughts. There's truth of raging against the dying of the light, and that is to love life and to be at one with those whom we love. I mean, think of it this way. My dad died about, 35, 40 years ago. I still miss him. And if I had the chance to be with my dad again, would I take it? Yes, in a heartbeat. I would grab hold of him and I'd never let him go. So tell me, which is better? To be here in this life with those people that I love and love to be at one with, or to die and to be in the next life with those whom I so miss being at one with? My dad, my mom, my God. Which is better? I can't decide. So, I'll walk the path of Christ, loving this life, trying as best I can to be at one with those whom I love, trying to be at one with God, which is my destiny, until that time comes where I stretch out my arms like Peter and I surrender and I go gentle into that good night, knowing full well that in that good night awaits my Father, my Mother, my God, the two becoming one, once again, at last.